So we're here at Hilltop today, and we're here to talk to the community about what it is that they want to do and grow in their community garden. So we're working with Taikalon, and we've just got funding from the Local Places for Nature Fund, the Lottery Heritage Fund. And so with that funding, we're going to be looking at what sort of food we can grow. We're also going to be looking at what kind of nature we can bring to that space. We're going to be thinking about how the community might use it and think about how perhaps we might get children into that space, some low beds, some lovely fun things that they can do, some habitat spaces, and just a space where people can come and grow some local lovely vegetables.
My name's Susan Gibbons. We live in one of the highest poverty areas in Blaenau, Gwent, and we have found since running our food cupboard that people are struggling to make ends meet. Even those that are working, they have cars to run, heating, everything has gone up. So we have found that vegetables and the perishable foods are what's needed the most, because they can make soups, they can put them into batch cooking to try and save energy. We are running courses, cookery courses to help them to learn how to batch cook. So we are trying to make a difference, but it is very difficult for everyone in Blaenau Gwent, we know that. But our food cupboard is one of the main reasons we feel that if they can grow vegetables in bulk, then it's going to be even better, they'll be fresher. If we have meetings like this one and the one later on, it gives them the opportunity to come and talk about it and find out what it's all about. But running a film perhaps as well, or having schools take part. I think if we reach the schools, then they can go home and talk to their mums and dads and just say, look, there is a garden, you want to be part of it. If we teach the children how to plant, they can get excited about it and hopefully bring their parents along. Being open to all. So making sure that the pathways are disability accessible and making sure there's covered areas as well, so they're not all getting soaking wet, because that can put you off. Who wants to go and work on planting if it's all out, in the open. But I think it's going to make a difference to have people come out to their homes, have a chat with others and join in something perhaps for the first time, or even for those that are redundant now, come out and have a go and share not just the gardening, but talk about other issues as well. I think when you're outside, it does help with your own mental health, and fresh air is good for everyone, isn't it? Well, when you are working with soil or planting, it's very sensory. So I know some people don't like getting their hands dirty, especially if they do have autism or other sensory difficulties. But when you put on a pair of gloves, you can get them as messy as you like, and it's fun. It is good fun. And you have to weed and get dirty anyway. But when you're putting a little seedling into a pot, there is nothing like it, because you're achieving something. You're growing something that's coming to life, and it does make you feel good inside. I would like to be able to pass on some skills that I've learned during life, planting bulbs, seedlings, even taking cuttings and showing them how you can grow things that's already grown and grow new baby shoots from that. And passing on the knowledge, not just from being in here, but also being in the community garden itself rather than in these premises. A feeling of togetherness, I think. We have lost, a lot of us have lost the community spirit. Not all, but since COVID, particularly since COVID, I know we're going back to COVID, but it affected a lot of people my age. And some are still afraid to go out. So I'm hoping that the young coming together with the old, whether it's children or younger people starting families, I'm hoping that that will grow and put a sense of pride back into Hilltop.
Okay, my name's Vanessa, and I've been part of the cabin for nearly 10 years. I've done bits and pieces all over the place, from start to finish, from the gate to at the back of the fence. People to try and come down into the area, have little events and stuff like that, just to get people engaged, and especially the older people, they get stuck indoors. You can get them in and they'll be happy because there's a warm area to come and sit by. So I think it's really important to try and speak to the community and get their input as well as ours. It's not just a one-sided thing, it's meant to be a joint, because it's not just for us, it's for everybody in the area. So the more we try and communicate with the outside on the community, the better off this is going to be for us. I volunteer up here anyway, so in the community gardens I'll help anybody that needs a bit of help digging or anything like that. That's when I'm up here. I'm not shy to get my hands dirty, get mud from head to toe, doesn't bother me whatsoever. As long as people are happy and encouraged to carry on and not give up. I think that would be the more important thing for me, is to make sure that they never give up. Just because one lot of products don't make the grade or don't grow, don't give up, try again. Encouragement and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm always up for anything up here. Community garden would make people that are stuck in the house out and have open communication with their neighbours, which I think is really good because a lot of people get isolated. So Hilltop could do with a community garden where they can talk to other people apart from the four walls that they live in. And I think it would also be great because you've got them interacting, fresh air, growing and building confidence and talking with the community. It's just nice to see the community coming out and interacting with each other and supporting each other, which is really what the community garden is for. Open communication so they don't feel shut out, which I think is really important at the minute, especially for this area, because everybody is so scared to talk to each other now. And that's one thing we don't need. We need the open communication.
My name's Sue Rowe. It's a very deprived area, and it's good for people's mental health to grow and to actually build their confidence when they find that they've got something at the end of growing. So it starts off as a seed, and when you succeed in growing something, it builds your confidence and it helps with your using fresh food. By going to different groups like this One Life group, and there are various other groups in the area who were initially I was the one who came up with the idea of having an allotment on that piece of land, and I just saw it as something a community could get involved with, and it would build bridges and friendships that could last. Because of my age, I'm restricted to actually digging big holes now, but I would like to encourage younger people and perhaps just be part of even making a cup of tea for somebody who's digging or somebody who needs a chat. So I'd just be a friend, but I'd love to garden myself, but I know that it's beyond my age now. It'll bring wildlife, a sustainable environment for people to enjoy, and it's good exercise. It's supposed to be good for our health. It's actually going to happen. It's taken a long time to get to the point where it's going to look feasibly possible, and I think it will bring a lot of enjoyment to the people in Evervale, especially up at Hilltop.
So we're here to do the community listening event. We've come up with a number of questions that we want to ask the community. So things like, what kind of stuff do you want to grow? How do you feel about the design that we've drawn up, that we've suggested for the space? And how might your skills benefit the project? And are there any skills that you need and that you want to learn as part of the project? So we're going to be running various different sessions across the summer and across autumn throughout the rest of the year, which will be focusing on different skills that we might encourage the community to learn, whether that's things like composting or just growing things from scratch, from seed. We'll be looking at the kind of feedback that we get from these events and then pulling that into the plan for the rest of the year. So the idea is that this is really kind of community centred and based around what the community want and need.
Hello, my name is Peter Rowe and I live in this area in Evervale. It's important in this area because first of all it enables the food to have less travel, so it's cheaper, and it's also useful for the environment as well. By having group sessions of growing things with the opportunity for people to see that what they grow they can eat, and it's all part of building up a personal self-esteem even. I'd like to be involved in a community garden by participating in growing, using land that's communal and as well as our own garden to produce products for the area, for ourselves, and to enable other people who need the food, need the vegetables, to receive them. It will bring people together. People will realise that food actually comes from the ground and it is so useful rather than just assuming you can buy it at the local supermarket. The fact that I see people talking together, helping each other and just joining in and making it fun.
My name is Ebony King. I'm most excited about, I think it's going to help children, because in the community I think at the minute children are doing stuff they shouldn't be at younger ages and stuff, and I feel like it'll be good opportunities for them to actually be children again, to enjoy time with their friends rather than enjoying doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. And I think it'd be good for the elderly because they're always trapped in their houses because of the way kids are acting, and just since COVID everyone's been trapped away. So I think it'll just be good for everyone to come together and communicate with each other. I think it'll bring to Hilltop a chance for people to have somewhere safe to go where they can speak and be themselves, because I feel like this day and age everyone has to try and fit in with other people, and I think up here it's more like you don't have to fit in and you can just be yourself, and you'll be able to talk to people without having to stress about fitting in and everything like that, so you can just communicate freely and just enjoy your life I think we can get the community involved by putting it in areas where children will go more, so like Hilltop Skate D, the club. I think we could put more of that around. Schools I think should have more information on that and stuff like this for everything. Just everywhere. I think on shops, I think it should be talked about more in schools and in employment and just everywhere. I would like to be involved by continuing volunteering up here. It's nice that we do stuff like post leaflets and that through people's doors, because it gives everyone a chance to be involved then. It's not like this is just something that's hidden away from people. It'd be nice to come up here and help children and help adults and just get to know people and their lives and what they like doing. I think food growing is important in this area because a lot of the people are quite, they don't have the best incomes. Just in Tesco and that, even that veg is getting expensive, and it's hard for people to choose veg and that when there's microwave burgers and stuff like that. So I think it'd be nice that there's somewhere you can come to where you get your fresh veg, it's in your community, so you can get to know people. And I think it'd be good if there's chances to offer people who don't have money free veg that we're growing. I think that'd be really nice and lovely.
So we're out here now in the space that we're going to be transforming, So this space here is going to be really near the Hilltop cabin, so everyone from the cabin can use this space, and people from the community will be able to come in and have a key and use the space as well. We're hoping to work with some of the local schools who'll hopefully come and get involved and come and use this space. So yeah, we're going to be looking at putting some raised beds in here and thinking about how we can grow undercover with things like polytunnels and stuff like that. So hopefully over the next few months this space will be transformed into a space that the community can use.
Hiya, I'm Lee Kettle. I'm helping with the volunteers at the One Life Autism garden allotment, and it's part of us here helping out. We opened everything down for the beds. You can see everything in the background. Everybody's helping out. It's a really good turnout. We've got the weather for it. As you can see, it's sweating. It can be tomorrow. We'll take Carl and lots of the helpers are coming to help us. The aim of the project is to get people in to grow, learn, interact with each other, sort of like socialise, because you got autistic people, antisocial, can't talk very well to other people. So it's to get groups together and learn and teach them as well, so they grow from seed to be self-sufficient almost. So, and learn new skills, and that's what we're hoping to do. Moving planter beds. I'm slightly disabled with my back, so I don't do much lifting, but I can do lots of waking and helping out. So that's what I've been doing. So the boys put the planter beds together. We come up now and help all the shifting the wood chip. We do like an eco-culture where you have wood chip and stuff, little compost down on the bottom, and then we have the topsoil on top. So the plants use the topsoil on top currently at the moment, and then as it rots down on the bottom, then fertilise the plants as they go.
My role today has been shoveling some soil into wheelbarrows and then importing them into the wooden planters. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, when it's all done, I'll definitely intrigued to see what it all looks like. I'm not actually from this borough myself. Or from this town. Sorry, I'm from Nanty Glo, but I think it's all the same around Blaenau Gwent. Definitely a close-knit community, and I'm sure this will benefit the local community in many ways.
Okay, so one of the things that we've really focused on in this project is making sure that we're trying to talk to lots of different people in the community. And one of the really important things for us is to get the voice of the younger generation in to figure out how we design these spaces and how we're going to use them, and hopefully get people in, younger people, children from the schools nearby, to come and do some planting, to come and grow some plants from seed, and just to really learn about how and where their food comes from and how it grows. Even things as simple as like apples from the apple trees that will grow here. They'll be able to see them grow from really, really small, these trees from really young into like older trees. And a lot of these people are probably going to be living around these areas for quite a long time, and they'll see these areas grow and develop, and these trees grow and develop, and see where their food comes from. So it's something that's really, really important to us, is to make sure that we get all of those different voices feeding into how we design these spaces. Yeah, so what we're hoping as well is that these sites, when they're run by the communities, will invite the schools back in to come and run some sessions with them, so that they can, again, kind of grow things from seed, watch them grow, plant them out into bigger plants, and use some of those vegetables and foods to create things. We've had some of the groups talking about running cooking sessions where they can use some of those vegetables and foods, and the herbs and things like that will be growing on site. So it's really going to feed into that understanding of where our food comes from and how it grows. And then one of the things that, again, is really important to us is that kind of skills area around kind of figuring out how you can grow things and how simple it is as well. Because, when you're growing stuff, it's really easy to just put seeds in, see how they grow. Some of them might not grow, some of them will grow, and, figuring out how that works in your local area and what grows really well here and what doesn't. So it's kind of telling people that there aren't any mistakes really when it comes to gardening and when it comes to growing your own food. It's just trying things and seeing how it goes.
Thank you very much. Hello, my name is Susan Gibbons. Now that this garden is complete, it's been months and months and months in the making, and thanks to the lottery for their funding, Taicalon and Earthwatch, you've all made such a massive difference for the Hilltop community. Hopefully we can get more families involved that can come out and learn how to plant the seeds, and then come the summer and the spring we should have lots of vegetables and some flowers, of course, fruits. There's fruit trees planted, so hopefully you'll all be able to have some fresh vegetables homegrown for the summer, and then perhaps even your Christmas dinner planted by yourselves.
At Taicalon, we're really proud to have been involved in this project from the start. It's been really lovely to see everyone come out in the community today and really enjoy their day.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Ebersfield. I'm the treasurer for Gwent Community House. A lot of people, they want to help, but they're scared to help. As we talked about earlier on, benefits wise, if they're on disability, it's frowned upon claiming disability, but yet you can volunteer to do this. But to me, that shouldn't be a problem, because if you keep it mobile, there's more chance of you staying healthier. Like I say, well, I help run the community house here. We want to get more of the community involved. A lot of them have said that they'd like allotments, but there isn't the land around here to put allotments on. So I think a community garden is the next best thing. Get more people involved, growing food. It's more healthy for them, and it makes a better community. People joining in and helping each other. In Blaenau Gwent, it's important because you need to get people off takeaways, because a lot of the Ebervale, Aberglady, in Blaenau, you see the pizzas or kebab shops. A lot of people don't eat much veg, so the more we can grow and get people to try, especially the kids, because they're the next generation. You know, it's just a case, this is something that needs to be done. To actually grow things. We do a pantry on a Tuesday. A lot of the food that we get is surplus food from Tesco's, which we then give out the following morning. But if we can grow it and people can see it being grown, it's fresher, it'll last longer. So it kills two birds with one stone. Sense of community. Now in March, at the end of this month, end of March, we're moving our provisions and that down to the community centre, which hasn't been used in the last 15 years. So there is no community as such, so we need to rebuild that back up. And I think community garden is one step, and with what we do, like we run youth clubs and that, so the more we can get people to come and help, the more of a community there's going to be there. People might start taking pride in where they live and want it to improve.
So my name is Jo Reams and I'm the wellbeing coach for Tycallan Community Housing, and a big part of my role is supporting guys who run activities from premises like this, the community house at Coica. I think it's another opportunity to bring people together and to enjoy some activity, getting out and about, and taking away some fresh produce. We try from the community house to encourage people to cook with fresh ingredients, so again it will lend itself nicely to the sort of activities that are currently supported with supermarkets providing their sort of end of shelf life product. This brings sort of grow your own produce to the project as well, so it'd be nice. That, I think, just sort of bringing more people out, getting together. A lot of children play out up here, unusually, because we always talk about children being at their Xboxes now. Doesn't tend to be the case around the Coica. You see a lot of children out, and unfortunately a lot of them play in the road out on the front. So this is something that hopefully we can draw them into intergenerational activity then, where older community members will hopefully pass on their remembered skills, because we've lost growing. We've been talking about grandparents growing, having gardens full of vegetables. We don't see that anymore, do we? Lots of word of mouth, I think. I think if we bring, I think the draw is going to be we get the children involved, and then we ask their parents to come along to particular things to sort of get them involved. We tend to use that model anyway. We've got an event for the children, but they have to be supported by a parent. So I think by drawing the children in, drawing their parents in, hopefully grandparents as well, we'll sort of grow the model from something that we've already tried and tested. We have got high levels of poverty in Blaenau Gwent, and I think people becoming more self-sufficient is going to ease the burden of your eating against heating, and I think if we can establish a community programme and they can learn skills, then hopefully they'll take that back to their own gardens, and we'll see people, giving over a space within their own gardens to grow in their own produce, I hope. Because we were just saying next door, larger families, the difference being able to harvest from your own back garden has a big impact on that weekly shop. And families didn't eat years ago if they didn't grow. They didn't have the funds for it. Welfare system certainly wasn't in place. So, people were very self-sufficient. We've lost, I think, those skills along the way, but hopefully projects like this will resurrect people's self-sufficiency, and it would be lovely to see. Children saying, oh, my carrots need to be picked before I can have my lunch. And I used to spend hours shelling peas for my grandmother that came out of the garden. I used to spend hours picking slugs off cabbages for my grandfather, so that they didn't get them all before he could cut them and they could be eaten. So I loved being in my grandfather's garden, and I'm sure children would take a lot of pleasure out of that if the opportunity's there.
Yeah, my name's Ellie and I volunteer at Coica Community House every week to run a food pantry and a youth club for the young children. I think the area that we're looking to put the food growing department in then is quite a deprived area, so I think it'd be good for the children to be able to have something, even the adults, to have that something to look forward to have something to engage them with the community. That community feeling, that sense of having a group there, being able to all come together as one to help make the place a better place. I think it'd bring just that sense of like warmthness in the community that I feel like is lacking at the moment. Oh, the growing workshops. I've just been speaking to a few other people about different growing workshops that could potentially go on, and I'm very excited to be involved in them. I think there's different ways you could approach it. I think people in this area are very set in their ways, so you've kind of got to go to them with something that they're comfortable with and approach them that way to get them involved. I think it'd have to be something like physical, in the sense of people are quite set in staying in their houses, so it may be whether it's a door to door and take them like some boards of what the visual representation of what you want to do there, that might entice them more to come and join in rather than it being just from the mouth. I think they'd rather see a visual representation. I'd like to help maintain it, I'd like to help get the community involved, I'd like to give a go at doing the growing. I'd just like to be at the front of it and just help make this community a bit better than what it already is.
Yeah, certainly. Good morning. My name's Greg Beasley. I'm a qualified teacher and I've run the Engage project for 11 years. We've been off site for 7, and it's basically set up for learners that are disaffected from school for whatever that reason may be, and we offer up to 10 GCSEs. We try to reduce exclusions and improve attendance, and it's been a fantastic project, well supported by the school and Blaenau Gwent over the years. We've had about 150, 160 learners through the doors and achieved about 600-700 GCSEs. But this is our own permanent base now. We moved in September 25, and it's a fantastic product that we've got, and the learners really love the provision. Once we got the provision in place, we noticed we've got some lovely grounds to use, and that's fantastic for our well-being. So obviously we can come out and we can do some outside learning, such as the forest schools. A lot of the learners are interested in working outside and got a lot of practical skills to offer. So we've got that space now we can come out. Because it's so new to us, we've got some fantastic ideas that we'd like to run, such as bird boxes, to put some displays out, plant flowers. We've got some winter gardens to sort out. We've got the trees and we listen to the birds, but it's obviously a place for well-being and a quiet time for some learners who are struggling, and to come outside is fantastic for us. We can play some sports, we can discuss things. It can all be done on an outside basis rather than being inside all the time. And the scenery and the countryside around here is fantastic, so we're very lucky to have this, access to this. Obviously with the project in place, some of the learners are already interested in helping, so that will be helping to maintain some of the areas in particular, which I can't wait to start with, but with time that will come. Yes, quite a few of the learners are interested. They've already asked me if we can set some projects up so they can get outside, obviously with the practical nature of some of them. We've actually worked with other companies in the past where some of the learners have been taught how to use streamers, etc. And I can obviously try and get that up and running again, so we can help to maintain the grounds, which would be fantastic. But to have some benches sat outside in the meadows would be lovely. People can do some reading for their English GCSE outside. It'd be such a different atmosphere. We've got a patio area that we can see the different types of trees and flowers with boxes with winter seeding. One of the grandparents has just left me actually, and she spent money on winter plants for us. And some seeds for the spring which we're going to sow. So that's really exciting to get the parents and grandparents involved in the project, although it's early days. Well, there's been lots of work going on in the last 6 to 8 weeks. I've envisaged a lot of clearing of the area to start with, which then it gave it a fantastic viewpoint of what we did and didn't have. We could see what different kinds of trees, etc., different kinds of shrubs, which we had no idea about. We've got that perimeter now available, and then obviously you've been building planters, a polytunnel. I think there's a pond gone in which was there in the first place, but the whole area has just been massively improved and is a venture for wildlife. My learners have loved it for the well-being aspect of it, and we've actually been out a couple of times and had a look around to see what is going on. So it's been great for us, used it as a reward as well some days. Well, for the community, having a green space that you can do lots of various activities in is wonderful. We've not only got the buildings behind me that you can see where things can happen, we've got this outdoor area that lots of learners can use for well-being, in particular for walks, for sitting and chilling and sitting on the benches, for picnic areas, just discussion, just to put up just a positive area and to listen to the sounds of the birds, which I can hear today with the weather that we've had. We've not been had many sunny days, and this is just beautiful. The environment is wonderful. The views across the valley are outstanding, and it should bring a lot more people into this space now it's open.
My name's Andrew Myatt and I work for Tai Calon Community Housing. We are just so pleased. So until a few months ago, this piece of land was very overgrown, full of hawthorn, hadn't been in use for many years, and we didn't really have a plan to know what we could do with it. But the local community came to us and said, actually, we'd really like to see some raised beds, perhaps a polytunnel, an area that we can get involved in nature. And as you can see, we've made a fantastic job in the last few weeks of bringing that to fruition so that the local community will be able to get closer to nature, will be able to grow their own food. We've got local connections with local primary school who've already been involved in building some of the things here at the moment, and I'm just so excited to see how this grows and matures over the next years and months, because we want to see more of these community gardens across the whole of Blaenau Gwent to bring nature closer to our communities.
My name is Councillor Ian Trollope. I'm Borough Councillor for Blaenau Gwent, but I'm also a Community Councillor for the town of Tregear. I'm a resident of Cefngola and I live on the estate. And I've always done separated my council work with volunteering I do with Cefngola together and the Cefngola Tenants and Residents Association. And I think it's one of the main ones is that the community will come out and get some more fresh air working in open environment. Unfortunately, public transport, we've got one bus an hour that only stops in the middle of the estate. A lot of people don't use it, so they're isolated. So I think that the community will get together then, but obviously the food that we grow will be used in the community pantry that we're giving out to people at Cefngola alone. Because of my disability, I won't be able to do anything physical, but I will I'm a trustee of the Cefngola Together and a committee member of Cefngola Residents Association, and I will be continuing with that and obviously helping as a councillor if there's any problems with any of the people that the residents have got up there. I'll be helping to sort that out. Basically, anything that the residents want. When we started the food pantry, we took on what we thought what people wanted, but within 2 weeks it was a drop off, and so we went back out and asked what they wanted. And obviously, to give an instance, if we give 8 tin of beans and they don't use it, they don't want another tin of beans. So we move things around, and we have found it easily that families may want a chicken dinner or whatever, but somebody living on their own may want some just salads. So I would hope we could grow stuff that will not only feed the community but also do some herbs, and in that way we can get community members of the community who may not be able to cook, we can get some classes up to learn them to cook themselves. There's no way of growing this stuff if they can't use it. There's very little opportunity for the community to get together in Cefngola. We used to have a club down the road that closed years ago. There's no other community building as such. We got the house here, but it's a very small house. It was only a 2-bedroomed house. So although we do bingo and so forth here, it's very little for outdoor activities. With a community garden, I think it'll bring people together with like-minded people who may like to grow stuff but haven't had the opportunity. Also with that bit, I think it's an opportunity for the younger element to work with the older element, because there's a fear of crime. There's not much crime on the estate, but it's a fear of crime, and this could bring the two areas together, and I think it would benefit the whole of the community there. I'm all in favour of this. For years, Cefngola have been promised and been let down by certain organisations, and when they closed the club, that was the last straw for people at Cefngola. They were dismayed. Now with the community project coming up and a new community centre where we can use it for all aspects of the community, be it christenings, small weddings and so forth, but also where they can drop in and have a cup of tea. And I think that's, especially for the elder generation, I think that's very important. They know they're safe. My daughter and my 3 grandchildren were born on this estate. They moved now, but they're up here every day. When we have the fun day, my youngest was 12, she's always gets involved, and any sporting things she will do without a shadow of a doubt. Like I said, unfortunately, because of my disability, I won't be doing as much of the hand-on work, but I will be making sure that whatever grants coming through the council we could help with, and I will be helping with the paperwork. One of the things that I'm hoping for is that once we start the work, community will see something's happening. Because like I said before, they've had promises and been let down. I think the community is waiting for the actual work to start. I'm hoping they'll take ownership of it, because if they don't take ownership, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable with 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 volunteers. You need a community to make it sustainable, and that's my only fear. We've got to make sure that the community take ownership so it can be sustainable.
So this site at Cefngola is going to become part of a much bigger design that's going on here. So the hope is that there's going to be a big community centre just over there, and there's another area of green space here, which they're kind of working with the community to figure out what the best thing to go into that space is and what community will really enjoy. So here people can learn about how to grow things, how to grow vegetables. We've got a sort of market garden style area, kind of raised beds over here. There's going to be, storage for all of the tools and things that people need to use on site, so that they don't have to bring anything with them when they come to do some gardening. We've got a polytunnel just behind us here, and the polytunnel is great because it gives us the ability to do all year round gardening as well. And there might be some things in there that we can grow that are slightly more unusual and can be really interesting from a sort of education perspective as well. One of the things that's really lovely about this space is we're going to integrate some wildflower meadow and some orchard tree planting as well. So even though it's not a big space, there's going to be a really good kind of variety of things that people can come and experience. It'd just be a really, really nice kind of space to be outdoors as well. With seating areas, it's going to be a small gazebo, pretty much where I'm standing now, with a grass roof. So it's not just for people learning how to grow things, but it's also just a really nice space to be sort of in nature and reconnect with nature as well, which will be fantastic for the local community.
Angela. I'm a volunteer and trustee for the community house. I think it'll bring them together a bit more when we open the big growing space, introducing them to, tell them about what this growing space is and things like that, or just doing a little bit of pottering around up there. I just grow things that people usually eat, like carrots or cabbage, lettuce, not do the all different herbs and things that, that way you can use the product rather than waste it, I think it'll bring the older ones together, more than the young ones. And the children love it. They love being out in garden and that. The problem with this one is it's too small, so you need a bigger space to, do things, grow things. My grandchildren come here, they come to group and things like that. Even the ones that don't live on this estate come, so yeah. Plot or use the polytunnel and that, for growing, because, I haven't got room for a greenhouse, or I wouldn't use it, so, it'd be useful that way as well. You could grow things there and take them back to your own garden,
They bring the community together, they can grow their own veg, and it'd be good, and for the kids to get everybody involved. I think it will. I think as soon as some people start coming, they tell people everybody's going to join, and like I said, it'll be a meeting group then, where they can all meet and have a chat. I think it's going to be amazing. Once people see the vegetables growing and taking it out, and then the vegetables are going to supply the community centre when that opens, so it'll be a good project.
Right, you ready? Yeah. Oh, well done, Ange. Yay!
Well done.
I think it's amazing. You've done really well. I think the children will love it, and the adults hopefully. Yeah, it's amazing. What little space, what you've done in so little space. I think the schools will use it. Well, it's us as a community to get together now and try and do more with this growing space and make use of what we've got and hopefully pull us together. I think it'll be good for people's well-being. I know it does me a lot of good being outside and instead of cooped up, and yeah, it's in a lovely place. So, yeah.
Hi, so I'm Ian from Greenspace. We're the lead contractor on delivering the garden. It's been brilliant to be involved with Earthwatch and Ty Carlon to get this off the ground. And as you can see, it's a lovely space, a lovely area, and all the neighbours and everyone have been out and said hello. So hopefully they can get involved once we hand over the keys and get all the community engaged.
So hi, I'm Jo from Ty Carlon, here today at Kevin Gola, the opening of the community garden space. If you have a look around, it's a smashing space for the community to get enthused about. I know I am very enthusiastic about it. It's a bit of a gloomy day, and I would imagine planting in this weather is probably not on people's agenda, but I'm sure come the summer months when the sun is shining and the children want to come in and plant, it's going to just be an amazing space.